Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to One Hub Racing. This is Season 18, and we are here at round number 4 of the Pinnacle tier at Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardennes Forest for the Belgium Grand Prix. My name is Jess, and I'll be in the commentary box just like last week. But joining me in the commentary box once again, we have Matt, also known as Indecisive Mackie. How are you doing?
A bit drained. It's a tough race sometimes, but I'm good. Excited to be here for the Pinnacle tier once again, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how wide open this championship race gets blown today.
Yes, it is a big fight going on at the moment, but we'll go through a little bit more about that later on. Spa-Francorchamps has had many different layouts throughout its time, first being held in 1950. One of the tracks, which was on the original Formula 1 calendar, Silverstone being one of them, being the first race, and there was Monaco and Monza, to name a few. It was 7 kilometres long, the circuit, and they had 2 DRS zones. We've got one just before El Rouge heading into Radion, and then we've got one heading towards the final corner of the bus stop chicane, which makes things very, very exciting. 3 compounded tyres, the C3s, which is the softs, the C2s, which is the mediums, and the hards, which is the C1s. And it could go pretty much these softs for quite a long time. 9 laps for the softs, 14 laps for the mediums, and 19 laps for the hards. So even though it's a 2-stop race, if their race gets ruined, at least they have a lot of choice on what tyres they go onto.
Yeah, there's very much a running theme in the drivers' pre-race conferences about alternate strategies. Could be a possibility to make overtaking slightly easier, given that I asked if they thought that quality was important, and that's one of the ways they can combat overtaking, to have a different strategy. And of course, one of the drivers tonight is looking forward to rain. That's a bit weird, but alright, each their own, I suppose.
Well, we noticed in our qualifying session earlier on that it was a wet qualifying. I wasn't sure what the other tiers were like, so I haven't seen to watch them yet. But yes, the Ardennes Forest tends to rain quite a lot, had the highest lot of rainfall for quite some time. So if you see any rain-affected qualifying session or in the race, then do not be surprised, to tell you the truth as well. Quite a few people do not want rain, so we'll see once we get into the session on whether it's going to be a wet quali, a dry quali, or a wet race, or even changeable conditions. It's different for that as well. So we're looking at the results from last week as well. We have got Toxic that won the race last week. We were in China last week, actually, which was actually a pretty good race as well. First time the Mercedes actually, second time Mercedes took the win. Netsky took the win quite some time ago. Netsky, however, only scored 7th last week, so he's hoping to have a much better result this week. But Rafa got pole last week, only managed second, but he was very, very happy with that. Not so confident about tonight, but I'm sure he's going to give it everything he's got. Larkin finished on the podium, and we've got Samba in 4th. He's not going to be here for the rest of the season due to his internship. I'll talk about who the replacement driver is in just a moment, which is going to be very exciting. Vienna in 5th. Khalifa finished 6th. Another consistent result for him. Netsky and Lakitu are 2 championship contenders, 7th and 8th. Jules finished in 9th place. Konzo finished in 10th. Glock 11th. And Noah finished in 12th. We got 4 ERT drivers in the top 12. Fastest lap inside the top 10 went to Rafa. Fastest lap outside the top 10 went to Cliffy. And our driver of the day went to Toxic. So we're going to look at the constructors, the drivers' standings now as well. Lakitu leads the way with 35 points. And we got Samba in 2nd, Netsky 3rd, Larkin in 4th, Khalifa 5th, Vienna in 6th, Josh 7th, Jules in 8th on 12th. Then we got Rafa in 9th, Glock in 10th. Then we got Noah in 11th. Then we got Tomar, Kyle, Konzo, Arnold, who's here tonight, luckily. Cliffy, J-Luke for Fatality, Toxic, and Chris. I think I haven't got the updated standing for some weird reason, so I know Toxic actually scored points. So I'll need to double check that I may have got the wrong standings. But anyway, the key to still leading the way, and even with Samba going as well, and Netsky very close behind in 2nd.
Yeah, it certainly could be a close fight the rest of the season, which is what we all want to see. But yeah, we can confirm Toxic would be on 20 points now.
Yes.
in 7th place overall.
Yes, it was the wrong standards. I don't know why it has not updated, but there you go. Sometimes you do get technical issues. I had to sort out a few things in the stream there, but to be honest, it was a good race. So I've got the updated standings anyway. Here they are. So it's Lakita, then it's Larkin actually in second, Rafa, then Netsky, Khalifa, Vienna, Toxic, Jules, Josh, then Glot, Noah, Konzo, Tomar, Kyle, Arnold, Cliffy, Jamie, Chris, Fatality, and our newest driver, who is actually Konzo's brother, Calzo, who's going to be replacing Samba in the Renault. So we had the Hoffner brothers last season. This season, we got Konzo and Calzo. That's going to be a nice story for the rest of the season.
Well, it could be till one of them misses his braking and runs his brother off the road, like Ralph did to Michael once. And so that could always spark on in that house. So yeah, it's good to see the seat not vacant for too long though. So welcome to the league, Calzo, and look forward to seeing how you do in that Renault. And of course, in the standings, the Renault are in a fight for the constructors overall. So it could be a very much needed boost to that team.
Yeah, they're currently second at the moment, Renault, 51 points. Ferrari is still leading it with Lakitu and Rafa scoring last week. Mercedes in third on 46 points. McLaren fourth on 40. And we got Red Bull in fifth on 38. Alfa Romeo sixth on 37. Seventh Racing Point on 16. Haas eighth on 7th. AlphaTauri ninth on 4. Williams only scoring 1 point, but I'm sure they want to change that this week. We're just about to get ready to go for the race, which is good news for me, good news for you, and good news for everybody watching the stream as you get to see some fantastic action. Now, if they don't do 2-stop, they will get disqualified, and the pit lane loss around it is 18 seconds. So not as long as some other circuits. They can try and go for the undercut, which we've seen in the other tiers. It is very, very powerful going for that. And I did see some people in the race earlier on almost took the 24-hour endurance pit lane exit line, almost cutting that once they head to Rouge. So hopefully you won't see the same again today, of course. But I have to say, Belgium is very, very different to China. It's the longest track on the calendar that we have, apart from Singapore as well. But more overtaking opportunities, I've got to say, Rouge being one of them. Peron as well, if you're lucky. And obviously the bus stop chicane, a lot of things to watch out for tonight. And if you're lucky, maybe to the inside of La Source. But we've seen people try that a few times and it just doesn't seem to work. But you never know. I could definitely see a lot of people taking some risks.
Yeah, you could do. But I mean, if this league didn't have the mandatory 2-stop rule, I would do 2 stops anyway, because I think it's probably slightly quicker than a 1-stop, given the nature of the pit lane here. So, yeah, it's ready to go for qualifying, and unlike us, they have a clear blue dry track. So blue sky dry track, not blue track. That would be weird. But yeah, the sun is out in the wonderful forest, and let's see who's going to be first out onto the track.
16 drivers here today. We've got one of the Renaults who is out on track. I need to find out which one it is. It's actually Tomar, who's usually first on the track almost every week, as well as, actually, no, it's an Alfa Romeo course as well. Tomar didn't get a good result last week, but he's hoping to make amends this week, of course, and maybe score some extra points that he needs to keep his championship hope alive as well. There's a lot of people going out, and nobody's on the medium compound tyres. Everybody is on the softs. That strongly may suggest about changing weather conditions in the race, or they may just want to get laps on the softs anyway. Some people may go for the softer option if they're feeling confident, because they can go on 4 laps on a soft, but they got to be comfortable on not getting damage on that one, because it is prone to getting a lot of safety cars and VSCs as well. So maybe starting on the softs could be the best option for them. So maybe that's why they want to get their laps in on the softs anyway, and maybe starting outside the top 10 may not be as advantageous here as well. But with only 16 drivers, they want to get their laps in as quick as possible. Yeah, so excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, of course, you want to get a lap in early. I was unable to do so earlier, but it was wet, so that's my excuse. But these guys are
are always eager to get on with it no matter what the weather, and as I mentioned earlier, one of the drivers does prefer the rain, and that is the driver I'm actually watching, Glock, the Alfa Romeo, who's, I don't know why he prefers the rain, but I think it also opens alternate strategies, which, as I mentioned, can make overtaking easier. But it's going to be a frantic session, and I have no idea who's going to take pole position.
Me neither as well. Pole time, I'm expecting to be in the 140s, I would say. We've seen in other tiers people going into the 140s as well, 141s as well, and they weren't even a higher tier. So it's very, very competitive around here. So Glot was the first person that went out of the pit, so we are going to go on board with him on our laps here. Past the source, heading into a Rouge. You're going to go flat out here as well, but not too flat out that you go into a wall. So you've got to keep the car as smooth as you possibly can into the Camel Straight. You'll be going at almost 210 miles an hour as you head towards Le Combe in turn 9, and now you're going to be heading into Brussels or Bruxelles. It can offer you another chance to overtake. Understeer is a very common occurrence as you head towards this section. You need to brake when the front of the car reaches the red and yellow curves. You need to turn 11, head towards the corner of No Name. A few invalidations have happened here in qualifying and the race. I did that in practice, luckily it didn't happen in the race. Heading towards Pouhon now, and Glock has invalidated his lap time. Unfortunately, the curse continues there, but Pouhon, I've seen a few people invalidate there too, and unfortunately he has fell victim. Let's go on board with Thomas, who was just behind him on a lap. Luckily he has not invalidated. Past Campus and Stabilo, and heading into Stabilo 2, or Paul Frere as you like to call it as well. Thomas looking very comfortable on the throttle, but he's running out of fuel though, so he's going to probably limp into the pits very quickly once he finishes in his lap. Probably a mistake that he's gone on to the lowest amount of fuel possible, but heading towards Blanchimont, 200 miles per hour here, 8th gear here is going to be the most thing that you're going to do. Going towards second gear into the bus stop chicane, keep it into third on exit, heading towards the final corner, and what lap times are going to be? A 140.8. Not a bad banker lap time for the Renault driver as we head to the start of qualifying session today, and we got a few people about to finish their lap as well. Jules across the line in second, and Mr. Ready Up Too Early person fatality comes across the line in third for now with a 141.9, but again, it's just banker laps.
Yeah, it could well be banker laps, but I'm about to watch Noah go across the line on his banker lap, and that's a decent effort as well. But he'll go P3 with a 41.4, so there's some very quick times being posted very, very early on, which is enthusiastically amazing to see. And let's see how much quicker they can go by the end of the session.
Yep, Netsky's on a lap as well, our current championship rival to Lakitu up in front in first position. So Netsky needs to score consistently. He scored higher than Lakitu last week, but surely he wants to finish ahead of him this week. He's in third for now. Very, very good for him as well. Mercedes P2 and P3. Last week's race winner, Toxic, doing very well in P2 as we got a few people heading into the pits. I'm seeing who else is coming out on their final laps. Khalifa in the Red Bull, who scored in the points once again. He was very, very happy with his result last week. He wants to carry on with those point streaks this week. Comes across the line. Oh, not a bad shabby lap at all. P2 with a 141.390. Not that far behind Toxic actually, by quite a few temps actually as well. Anyone else about to finish? Not many people about to finish. Now that's it for the time being, as Konzo and Vienna are also on laps. They're heading towards Brussels. Vienna invalidated on the other hand. Konzo has not, so he has chance to get a little bit of slipstream actually from someone, which is no, I don't think no one was meant to give slipstream, so he slowed down. But there's many places you can get slipstream around this track. Camel Straight and Flue Blanchimont. If you time it right, that can gain you quite a few temps. We tried it, we and Liam in Prospect, but it didn't work out too well as I had a slide in Blanchimont, but it can work out well if you time it right. So Konzo comes across the line, P11 for him, and I know he could go a bit quicker heading towards the start-finish line. Cliffy's about to start his lap too, so times are tumbling down at the moment, Matt.
Yep, they certainly are, and I'm just watching this week's cold driver, unfortunately Arnold, who was called last week but couldn't take part because of a wheel issue, which, if you don't have a wheel, it's hard to drive. So we'll see if he can snap out of this cold spell. And the hot driver seems to be putting on a little bit of a run is the man in P9 at the moment in the Haas, Jules, who seems to be going on a little bit of a point spree at the moment. So let's see if he can keep that up as well. So we'll watch for that in the race.
Yeah, nice to see our hot and cold drivers here today. But Arnold, to be honest, he didn't have a good race anyway when he was put on cold in China for the race, which was round 2 in Singapore. He retired, actually. 2 of the Williams retired in Singapore, which was not good. So that's why Williams are so low down. But they did pair up with each other because they think they could score points. So the season is not over for them, actually, as well. But speaking of points, we've got some rivalry happening between Fatality and Chris this week. It's mainly about readying up and name changes this week, which I actually found quite funny. But Chris was asked, how would you tell Fatality to hold off readying up at the start of the race? And Fatality was asked, at least you weren't guilty of failing to tell admin about a change of game and tag. Chris actually got a 5-second penalty for forgetting to tell Khalifa, the league admin of this league, that he changed his game and tag. Chris is not here tonight. Fatality is, none of them responded. If I was Fatality, I would probably say I didn't realise that I was not meant to ready up this early. I probably won't forget this week, because otherwise the consequences will be very, very severe. You could possibly get a race ban. So, you know, I wonder what they would have said, but I'm sure they would have probably had something to dig at each other between those two anyway, and hopefully Fatality won't be getting a readying up penalty this week.
No, hopefully not, but I will be watching to see if he does it again. And I think he may have possibly answered in the following way. He might have said, yeah, at least I remember to tell admin if I do change my gamer tag. So I think he would have tried to drive that home. But anyhow, let's just see what some cars are about to do. I think I'm just trying to see if anyone's about to start a lap, as you have a lot coming out of the second Stavlo, or whatever it was you called it earlier. Every corner on this track seems to have about 43 names. It's not fair. I can only learn one. But Glock is on the run up to Blanchimont, so let's, I'm going to check him out and see what you do, and I'll hand back to you.
Well, Glock, actually, I was riding on board with him at the start of his first hot lap. Unfortunately, he invalidated, so hopefully this time he can actually hook in a lap together and make sure. Now, the thing to make sure about Glock is, if you invalidate on your first lap, sometimes it can be very hard to recover. So you gotta let your mindset go and concentrate on the laps ahead. Because if you have 4 sets of soft tyres available, you'll have 3 left if you validate your first one. So you've got plenty of opportunities to try and get some more laps in. But if you go for a more balanced option, you only have 2 more sets of soft runs left. So Glock really has got to gain as much time as he possibly can. He's seen a few drivers already set some lap times. His set to 1 was a 29.7. It was purple in game. I'll need to check if it's purple on Taz. Nope, it's not purple on Taz at the moment, unless it's taken a while to update. Speaking of Taz, actually, you can get involved with using !help in the chat. You can find out about the latest positions in the championship, people's lap times, as well as penalties, and what's going on during the races. Got almost had a bit of a slide going towards Pooh on there as well. Purple set to 1 actually at the moment is Calzo. Purple set to 2 is Tom, and set to 3 is also set. Fast set to 3 was Tom, and fast set to 1 now was set by Toxic with a 29.723. As Glot luckily has not invalidated through Pooh on this time like he did this time, so he's looking a little bit more comfortable. What about his teammate as he heads towards Paul Frere as well? I wonder if they can get a little bit of a slipstream at some point. Glock's going a bit faster, so he doesn't want to back out at some point. So heading towards the bus stop now. A bit late on the brakes needed to make sure you get good traction, but coming towards the final corner, shortest run to the line, and it's going to be a 140.9. That's a very good lap from Glock. That's what I'm talking about from him. And he just forgot what happened in the first lap and concentrated on getting the best second lap possible. Only 1 tenth shy of pole position, and his teammate went even quicker. 500 of a second quicker than his teammate Glock. Vienna in P2. Some surprises I've seen from him this season. He's one of our new drivers this season, but I've been very, very impressed with him, and maybe he could be a dark horse in this championship.
Yeah, there's quite a few people that could fit that moniker, and it remains to be seen exactly which one is going to be the head of the race, but there's definitely a lot of candidates in this tier for that, as we say. So the standings are tight, as you saw at the top of the stream. So I want to see how close they are at the end of the stream. Never mind that, there's cars going cook all the time in this session, and Taz is lighting up like a Christmas tree. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people improving on their lap times as well, and seeing a few more invalidations, which is not good. Jamie was actually on a few laps on to actually say his best lap, or 2 laps on the medium, so he doesn't look very comfortable at all on this track. He doesn't get acclimatised to it yet, but there's still 5 minutes left to go, so he may go into the pits and get a fresh set of softs on potentially as well. I think Cliffy invalidated his lap there, or did he invalidate his out lap? Nope, he invalidated his out lap, so at least he can go again. The only driver yet to set a lap time at the moment. He started last week, but he still managed to gain quite a few positions, but he wasn't very happy with his result. He got a fast lap point outside the top 10, but I'm sure he wanted more than that for his Williams team. One of the other drivers who is expected to potentially do well, because otherwise you're probably potentially being put on cold by the media, I have to say, and he's hoping to get a much better result this week. Netsky, however, who is currently chasing down Lakitu for the championship, is currently sitting in P3 right now in qualifying, looking pretty good as well. And I don't think Lakitu's here tonight. I just realised that. So this is a really great chance for Netsky to score some decent points. If Netsky wins tonight, then the gap could be huge in terms of the Drivers' Championship. I might be blind for not seeing Lakitu, but you know, this could be gold for Netsky. He can't afford to make any mistakes. If he makes any mistakes, then Lakitu could still be top of the standings by the end of this race.
Yeah, he certainly could be, but there's a lot of racing to go between now and then, and the end of qualifying, of course. There's 4 minutes and change to go in there, plus the extra time you get at the end of the session. But I believe you are right. I can't see Lakitu either now. I know I'm getting old and my eyes are failing me, but I don't think I'd miss 2 Ferrari drivers. And having said that, I can't even find
Rafa's
the other one.
I knew Rafa was going to be here tonight. He
so
said,
there's a
but I wasn't
opportunity.
sure about Lakitu. So no Ferrari points today. So another opportunity for the constructors as well. Renault are only second. So if the new driver Calzo, who's currently sitting in 4th position, which fair play to him, it's a good qualifying session for his debut in this tier for some time, then they could be leading the championship after this race. I don't think that's something Ferrari would have wanted, and speaking from a Ferrari's perspective as well, I'm not happy with this. I'm trying not to say any bias because I race for Ferrari in prospect, but yeah, you know, that's going to be the shape that the constructors fight. And Mercedes as well have both their drivers too. Ferrari could jump all the way down into 3rd position, maybe even 4th if Kondo and Larkin can score well. Larkin scored brilliantly last week in China and could score brilliantly if anyone makes mistakes. In a few of the tiers, only there was a lot of retirements and quite a few people got their best results of the season because of it. So maybe Larkin could be one of the favourites potentially for a race victory. Some people can score as high as from 13th and then finish in the top 5 potentially too, just for not making much mistake. Larkin is a driver who I've seen in the past many a time who could maybe just have a very bad qualifying but could have a really fantastic race and score some decent points. So watch out for Larkin tonight.
Yeah, I was going to make exactly the same point. Larkin will be the favourite going into this race. That if he can finish in the top 7, he would potentially take the lead of the championship just by doing that. So keep an eye on that as well. There's going to be a lot of stories to tell in the race, of course. But qualifying is into the final 2 minutes now, which is where it really gets really hot. And Larkin's about to start probably his final flying lap of the session. So who's going to be on pole? Have a guess. Anywhere in the chat? You, Jess, do you want to guess? Let's have a guess.
Well, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna put a bold prediction. I think Glock, because he likes this track. I've seen him race in many leagues, and he just seems to do well in all Belgium races. I'm gonna put a bold statement, and I think Glock. If not, maybe his teammate potentially. I think Alpha could score some good points today potentially. What about you?
I was checking my pre-race notes. I would have said Cliffy, but he's not bothered about qualifying. He thinks it's less important and there's easier opportunity for overtakes in the race. But yeah, Cliffy can be up there. I saw him in the pre-season race. He was doing quite well, and then he had an unfortunate moment where he ended up losing some bodywork, which was sad for him. But he kept up with Lucky Two, he kept up with Larkin, he kept up with all of them at the start of the race. So if Cliffy can put his lap together, my money would be on him in the Williams, who very much need it.
Yeah, I'm guessing I wonder if he's going to slow down on purpose to start at the back of the grid, because I've seen quite a few people in other tiers do that, and that's probably worked wonders. And Belgium is not really a bad track to start from the back of the grid, so maybe that's what Cliffy is doing, and you get the benefit of free tyre choice in the race if it's not going to rain. So I think Cliffy could be on for something here if he could salvage something into this, as Netsky is about to start his lap. We've got one of the Red Bulls who's probably going to be the one who's going to be crossing the line first, potentially, with a few seconds remaining. It's Josh actually heading towards Pouron. Oh, he almost went wide there. That was close into an invalidation, but this is where they're going to get the lowest fuel as they possibly can. Round about 2.2. You can't do that for the majority of the session, but you can do it in this part of the session because the car will basically drive itself at the moment. As Josh is purple in Sector 2 on our timing screens on the game. But what about Taz? Let me just have a look. It takes a while to update. Doesn't look like it, but he's looking very, very good. Looking very, very consistent. So let's see what he could do. 43.0 was his Sector 2. So he was very close to being purple Sector 2 actually. So not that far. He could be coming across the line for pole position. So Shaw's run to the line. P4 goes Josh, and we've got a Mercedes not that far behind. We've got Williams as well. That might be Cliffy, who has unfortunately invalidated. I wonder if he's invalidated on purpose. Jamie is going to come across the line heading towards the final corner. We've got another Red Bull of Khalifa also coming across the line. So Jamie, what can he do? Stays 15th. Khalifa stays in 8th. Then we got the two Mercedes boys. We got Toxic first, who comes across the line in 7th. What about Netsky? Only P2. We've got, Tom R, 140.7. That's pretty good for him. And we've got another Alfa Romeo coming across the line of Glock. P2 was very close for him to get pole, but let's see what Vienna could do across the line. Could he get pole? Yes, he does, a 140.7. Look at that. I was not expecting him to get pole. I predicted an Alfa Romeo to get pole, but I wasn't predicting this Alfa Romeo to get pole. Absolutely astonishing lap for him. It's not far off from what the top tier drivers on no assist can do. So really, really good from him. Fantastic.
Just look at the gap between the top four, by the way, just before we do anything else. 91 thousandths between all four of them. That is quite insane. And if they do that in the race, I think we're going to have a special one here. But the grid's all kinds of different to how you might expect, but it's going to be amazing either way.
Indeed. So we're going to look at the results then. So Vienna is on pole, Tom in 2nd, Glock in 3rd, Netsky in 4th. Very close between them. And we got Josh, Calzo, Toxic, Jules, Khalifa, and Noah. And we got Arnold in 11th, Konzo 12th, Larkin in 13th, Fatality in 14th, Jamie in 15th, Cliffy in 16th. And we got Vienna, who's on pole, one of our race premium drivers, as well as Netsky, Larkin as well. Glock is also race premium, Konzo's race premium, Tom R is race premium, and Jamie is race premium. We also got our ERT drivers of Rafa, who's not here tonight, Khalifa, Josh, Noah, Arnold, and Cliffy, who are our ERT drivers for tonight. And speaking of that, I'll let you go through the sponsors.
I'll keep one eye on the screen as I do that, but thanks for that. We have Liam RBS, who sponsors all the trophies for the first, second, and third people. Next Level Racing are providing something for the winner of the giveaway. You have our partner at Vespertine, amazing stuff there. And Time to Beat 3D, 20% off this week's track with the code OneHub Racing, I believe. And Fatality's done it again, by the way, just while we say that. And the ERT Go and Get Stuff award for the winner of the driver that attends all races, does all the media obligations, a pre-approach race, any other ones they're called up for, and you have 3M with the pair of sim racing gloves to the winner of the most fastest laps and the most pole positions in the league. So they are amazing prizes. Thank you, sponsors. And now we will go to the formation lap.
That was good timing, Matt. Well done. And speaking of weather, there's no threat of rain yet, but it is overcast. We don't tend to ask the weather to the drivers because we want to make it a surprise to the viewers and a surprise to us as well. So, the top 10, they have to start on the tyres they qualified on, which is a soft, but I'm very intrigued to see what people outside the top 10 would go for. Arnold on the alternate strategy pole position is on the mediums, Konzo on the softs, Larkin in the mediums, Fatality on the mediums, Jamie on the softs, and Cliffy on the mediums. So kind of almost an even split between the people outside the top 10, but I'm quite surprised people have gone for the mediums. I'm guessing they're not as comfortable as the others are getting a good start, or maybe they think that these drivers could keep it clean and they could go maybe 2 soft stints for the remainder of the race and they could be faster for longer potentially, who knows. But you know, I'm not racing, they are. They're probably a lot smarter about this, but in most of the races we've seen safety cars and the ones on the mediums were the ones that lost out. So I wonder if the medium runners have probably lived to regret it, or will these drivers keep it clean? But this is the top tier of 100 racing. I'm expecting little to no safety cars around here, but you never know what could happen, as Vienna will be pole position for the first time. I'm intrigued to see if he could stay there at the moment. Our championship contender, Netsky, is only in 4th position, and last week's race winner only in 7th. So we could have another different race winner. I believe we've had, I'm just trying to think, we've had 3 different race winners so far. Could we get a 4th?
Well, if we do, it's going to throw back to the real life 2012 season. But I'm just looking at the clouds. They are quite overcast. I'm not sure they're ready for rain yet, but I think the rain could be coming, but it all depends on how dark it gets in the opening few laps. But I'm definitely checking out the progress of Larkin as well on the mediums. As you say, mediums have tended to lose out the majority of the time today if there's an early safety car, which is why I think some of the drivers outside the top 10 have gone for the softs.
Yeah, someone's gone off actually. That is no, it's not Fatality. It's another Haas of Noah. And just speaking up about the readying up penalty, it doubles if you do it the amount of weeks in a row. This is Fatality's 4th week in a row. So if Fatality's not careful, he's going to be banned from the league next week. So let's hope he doesn't do it next week, please. He was reminded, but it was a shame he actually readied up. But anyway, we're about to get started. 22 laps await our drivers, and we're about to get away for the final race of the night. Vienna on pole, Tom alongside. And we are underway. Let's see who has the greatest start. It looks like it's Vienna. Tom has dropped off a little bit potentially, but I think he doesn't want to get in trouble. Glock's actually had a very good start heading towards turn 1. Everyone going to their source. So one of the Williams drivers actually had a little bit of a slide there. Let's hope it doesn't cost them in the race. Everyone's made it clean. Let's see how they manage through Eau Rouge. Let's see. Nobody's probably potentially going to go for a spin. No, looks like everyone is all right. It almost looked like Fatality and Cliffy almost had to come in together, but no problem so far. But it looks like Glock could potentially get beat too. No, he does not, but we got Toxic. Tries to go around the outside of both Josh and Jules as well. Can he make it stick heading into Brussels? Yes, he did. Toxic is up into P7. We've also got Khalifa, who is trying to get past Jules as well. Jules not been the best of starts so far, down in 8th position. Khalifa wants to get a comeback as well, but we got a McLaren almost going wide there. That's Konzo. So much action happening at the start of the race, but everyone has made it clean so far. No damage as well.
Yeah, no damage, which is always a good sign. But just a point on the Haas you saw off the track. It's not a problem. They just like to switch back ends occasionally, as you see there.
Speaking of a Haas, Fatality is spun. Yeah.
It's just the Haas thing. I had it earlier. My teammate had it as well, and I don't know. It just doesn't like this track. But anyway, no damage at the moment, and he's able to keep that out of the wall. But Khalifa is all over the back of Jules. Can he make his way through, or is he going to just remain patient and try and activate DRS in a couple of laps' time, which is when, of course, it will be activated by race control? Or will he try and force anything into turn 1? It's a possible potential overtaking opportunity, so we will see, and I'll keep you updated as the timing tower decides. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, Cody said they will fix it. Unfortunately, they do not fix it. But meanwhile, what we do know is Arnold and Konzo are actually going for a scrap for, I don't know what it is on track, and I'm trying to see if it's actually P6 and 7 or if it's not. No, it is, because Noah's in front of them. So it will fix itself eventually. So I don't know what position.com positions are fighting at the moment. It will sort itself eventually. And we're still seeing some moves up front as well. I can't see who it was, but yeah, it's starting to, the sun's starting to peak up actually, so the conditions may get a bit better right now, not worse, which may be a relief for some of the drivers at this moment in time. But we can see right now Vienna pulling up a 5-10th gap to Tomar in second. Tomar keeping it on the road so far, but Glock could possibly needs to gain a lot, because otherwise Netsky could potentially get the move on potentially both Glock and Tomar. So Netsky may pounce at any moment. He's just being very, very patient, as does a lot of these drivers at the moment. Don't forget, there is a fastest lap point for inside and outside the top 10. So, and for some of these drivers, they will be probably going on the softs nice and early and towards the end, as Toxic gets the first penalty of the day, which is not good. Not nice and early, as Jules gets past Josh once again. So Jules doing a very good job there, and Josh is very struggling at this moment in time as Khalifa actually get past him. I wonder if his team orders, or I wonder if Josh's tyres has probably hit a brick wall, or maybe he doesn't like the track.
No, I think he just made a small mistake, which is where Toxic got his penalty. He's a little bit harsh. He had to go a little bit wider to avoid Josh, as he went a little bit too deep into the corner, so he had no momentum, and that's why he got passed by about 4 cars there in the background, as you just saw. So I don't think it's tyres. I think he just made a small mistake, but the tyres won't be that healthy for that long, so maybe think about the box work out for you. But at the moment, we still have Vienna at the front of the field.
Yep, 6 temps now, so he's stretching the gap a little bit. But here comes one of our new drivers, Calzo, who's about to go around the outside of Netsky. But Netsky doing a fantastic job to hold on. Netsky only a few tenths behind Glock now. So anything can happen, of course, but it's starting to actually darken up as well. So things may change at a drop of a hat. You never know. Toxic may be in this. So Calzo is stuck in a Mercedes sandwich right now. Has Larkin not gaining as much as we would have liked. So unfortunately, we probably have given him a commentator's curse as they head towards Piron now for the 3rd time. As Konzo looking very good on the back of Noah then. Looking at his ERS, 70% right now is ERS 4. Now I'm just seeing how everyone's tyre wear at the moment. There's quite a few tyre wear that's already on the 34% mark, but don't forget, these guys have used qualifying tyres on them in the top 10, and maybe they may have pushed the qualifying tyres on them too much and too hard, so it could cost them going into the first pit stop. Maybe they want to pit, maybe lap 4, maybe even lap 5 for the undercut. Now I've noticed Konzo has got damage on his front left, 6%, so it is minor, so he could stay out for an extra few laps or two, but he may be losing quite a lot of downforce in some corners, especially in the bus stop chicane. That's probably why Arnold is actually catching up to him. So I wonder where he's picked up some damage. I'm just going to have a look. Lap 1, so probably he may have got caught out in turn 1 instant. I don't know, but Konzo's the only person to have picked up damage, as Cliffy is going in into the pits. That is really early, actually. I don't think the softs are going to make 2 stints, so maybe there could be rain after all, because otherwise there's no way we'll be going on the soft. That is a strategic call from our Williams driver.
Yep, it could be strategic. It definitely still looks about the same as it did at the start of the race, if not a tiny bit darker. But you say Konzo's got damage, but he seems to be not affected him down the straight. He just seems to be struggling a little bit through the corners. Having said that, Larkin has a look down the inside of Arnold, but Arnold shuts the door there and just stays in front in P12, the final points playing position, of course. But he'll be wanting more than that to get off the cold list.
Yeah, exactly. I think Arnold will definitely want to be on the cold list out of the cold list this week, and I think I'm feeling there'll be one to be added to the cold list next week with Fatality if he doesn't get a move on there as well, because he's 8 seconds behind his nearest rival, Jamie, which is not ideal, but I'm sure he could make it up for the rest of the race, because there could be retirements, we could see safety cars, we could see other people make mistakes that we could not potentially be surprised about, or potentially see potentially as well, as we got Glock who's going into the pit, and I do believe it is an undercut strategy for Glock. I did see around about lap 4, lap 5 would be the pit stop window, and Glock, I'm not surprised, he was stuck in traffic, he wanted to get a move on, and I have a feeling he probably played that to perfection so he can stretch out those mediums and then go on to the softs from around about lap 14 until the end. I think that's the earliest you can pit. That's what I did back in the prospect. It seemed to have worked out, but there were safety cars, but almost certainly without safety cars, lap 14 could be a bit of a stretch. Here comes Calzo. He's having a fantastic race heading towards Les Combes now. He even got it before Les Combes, actually. Up into third place, we've got a Renault 2-3 here. Arnold actually got past Conzo actually into Les Combes, the same place as what Calzo did to Netsky. So Arnold is actually going to get some good points here today if he can keep this up.
Yeah, of course, very early days. We're only on lap 5 and there's 22 laps in total to do. So it is a good start for Arnold, but I'm sure he can go a little bit further up the leaderboard, and I'm sure he'll be looking to do that, but that could well be a critical overtake for him. Having said that, there's a few battles going on further back, but they're not really close enough to try anything just yet, but bear with me and I'll get back to you if there's any movement on that front.
Glock's got a penalty. Glock's got a penalty. That's not what he wanted, especially for his chase. I guess he was pushing too much with his tyres because he wanted to get past traffic and he wants to get the best in-lap as he possibly can. Out-lap, sorry, as he possibly can. Vienna wants to try and get a good in-lap as well. So Vienna, is he going to go into the pits now? He stays out, but Glock's rival Tom R comes into the pits, and this is going to be very key. Hopefully he's had a good in-lap, because otherwise he's going to be in trouble. Netsky also stays out as well. Toxic comes in, Jules comes in, Noah comes in. Quite a few people come in actually as well. Arnold and Larkin actually stay out because they are on the medium compounded tyres, so there's no point them going into the pits just yet. So maybe them going onto the mediums is not a bad idea after all, because there's been no safety car so far. Here comes Glock, and look at that. Tom R must have had a good in-lap, or Glock must have had a bad out-lap, because Tom R is miles ahead.
Yeah, potentially, that's the thing. Maybe he just was able to use these fresh tyres to the best of his abilities, but there's still a long way to go. As we say, I'm just trying to figure out what is going on. Yeah, I think the medium runners are going to benefit as well, because it is slightly cooler than they might expect. Track temperature is 26, air temperature is 18 degrees here on lap 6. It is still overcast, but I am keeping my eye open to see if there's any shot of rain in the air. At the moment, no, but that could change at any given moment with all these trees about. You never know how much moisture they retain.
Well, it's getting a bit sunnier at the moment here in Belgium, so I think for now we're going to hardly have any rain, which I have to say is good, as Tom R almost clipped the curb there but so slightly. That was not what he would have wanted as well. So I'm looking at Glock there. He's about 8 tenths behind Tom R as well, so not that far behind, but surely he wants to be ahead of Tom R. But the most crucial factor is Vienna, who stays out again. I'm a bit worried he's probably forgotten the 2-stop, because it is easier to 1-stop around there. We're going to watch Netsky as he comes in into the pit lane. I thought he might have picked up damage there, because I thought he damaged his front wing, as Josh has got damage front wing, full damage on his right front wing as he comes into the pit. Cliffy has as well. But let's watch Tom R. Is he going to be ahead of these lot? Yes, they are. But Calzo is really under pressure now from Fatality. I think Fatality does want to be in his position, but surely Fatality has got to move out the way for the likes of Calzo, which he does through the Camel Straight. No trouble there. I'm a bit curious as to why Vienna stays out, because there's no way he would stretch those softs for 6, 7 laps in a 2-stop race. Lap 4, lap 5 at the latest. You pit as Josh is out the race. He's retired in the pits by the looks of things, and he's given up in the drop of a hat. So what a shame that, and we're down to 15 runners.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to gain a bit of a gap so that he can slot in out of traffic, so he doesn't have to spend a couple of laps trying to burn through his tyres to get past the car. I think he just wants clear air, so I think he's going to box in maybe a lap or two just so he's got that clear air behind him, but he's definitely padding the lead quite well at the moment. He's got 8 seconds on Arnold, so that could come in crucial as every car behind him is, and then you got Tomar 7 seconds behind the car behind Arnold, so yeah, he could slot in the top 6 if he comes in now, which he has done as the words come up on the screen, so that's could be a good call, and I'm looking for him to come out behind. I don't know
Lark is in the pits. This could be very interesting actually, because he's going to go onto the soft compounded tyres for the majority of this race now, which he does. This could be a very good strategy for Larkin, and Vienna have pitted at exactly the same time, so Larkin's not going to be that far behind. It's going to be very, very close between the teammates of Glock and Vienna. Tomar showed that the undercut remains supreme here in the Ardennes Forest. So I think Vienna would have probably regretted staying out for as long as he did. Vienna onto the medium tyres, and everyone else is on the mediums, apart from Larkin, who obviously started on the medium tyres. I wonder if Arnold would respond to that undercut and go on to the soft too, as we've seen Netsky going past Fatality and trying to catch up to Calzo once again, which is going to be easier said than done with how many laps to go of this Grand Prix. Of course, we've seen quite a few changes in positions, which I'll go through right now. Just give me a second. We've got Calzo who's gained, Fatality is gained, but he's yet to stop. Jamie's gained quite a bit, and so was Cliffy. So, but our biggest loser so far was obviously Josh, that dropped down 11, Konza, who's dropped down 2, unfortunately. But everybody else seems to be having a solid race, and if Tomar could keep this up, he could be on for a race victory. His last race victory, I believe, was in Bahrain last season, or the season before in position tier. Yeah, it was last season, scrap that. But he deserved that win, but maybe he could get a win here in Belgium, in Europe, and maybe he can keep his hopes like he probably wasn't expecting to be in the championship fight being in position last season, but Tomar is showing that, you know, the Pinnacle tier is just so close.
Yes, it certainly is, and as you can see, a 3 or 4 car battle here coming over the start-finish straight. Khalifa, we've mentioned the undercut. I think it would be wrong not to mention Khalifa. As we know, he is sort of an undercut merchant, and he always loves to go for the undercut. And right now, he's in P8 with fresh medium tyres to those around him, so that could well be a benefit to him later on in the race, as he will do his second stop and have even fresher tyres still. So this could be a huge result for Khalifa today.
We've got loads of battles happening at the moment as Vienna gets past his teammate, and we've got Khalifa who gets past Fatality quite comfortably on a fresh set of mediums. Maybe Khalifa could get past Toxic too as well. It looks like Khalifa is a lot faster than Toxic so far in one lap potentially as well in the race, because you don't get points in qualifying, you get points in the race. So Toxic may be struggling a little bit on those medium tyres, probably trying to get it up to temperature a little bit more, and Khalifa's warmed up those tyres very, very well potentially as well. So everybody, I believe, has made their first pit stop, so we will have to wait soon for when people make their second one. No, Fatality has not made their first pit stop yet. He's still yet to pit. I'm still intrigued why Fatality has not come in, but he probably will respond to the undercut, which he probably not. How did he not avoid the wall there? That was brilliant for him. He tried to keep it pointed in the right direction, which he did, but I'm almost certain with those tyres they're probably hot in terms of temperature, so he's probably going to have to go into the pits. His rear right is almost dead, 47% on the rear right. He just doesn't like this race at all. Maybe he's concentrating more on the penalty points he's going to get at the end of this race more than what's going on during this race, but you know, he's going to be on fresh softs for the remainder of this race. 2 stints actually as he comes in. Oh, that's not what you want coming into the pits, but yeah, I wonder if he's going to give up at this point, but we'll watch for the battle for the lead then. 5/10 is the gap. We got Vienna that's going to get DRS. Tom R's going to break the slipstream, it looks like, heading towards the Kemmel Straight. But look at that straight line speed from Tom R. That's really helping him defend from Vienna. And Tom R retains the lead for now from Vienna in P2. Both of them have not got any penalties. His teammate, though, has. And we do have a yellow flag. That is Conso? I don't know who spun it, actually. I can't remember. Nope, it's Arnard. And we had a bit of a spin there. Or he may just slow for the VSC, but I don't know what to think. Someone must have gone for a spin, I don't know. But yeah, we got a VSC at least. Not a safety car. That's probably not helped some people that have just missed the pit lane.
Yeah, you can confirm that the safety car really ruined me earlier, but then there was another one which ironically I actually caused, so I had a bit of a chuckle when that happened. But I mean, the Haas decided to switch direction halfway around poo on, and of course you can imagine there was poo all over the floor. Anyway, what? No. Yeah, it was a nasty moment, but VSC is lasting quite a while compared to some of the VSCs we had earlier, and there we go, we go in again, and Conzo. Oh dear, that's not what you want to be doing, sir.
That's a naughty engine for Mr. Conzo in the McLaren. He's going to have to serve his drive-through in the next 3 laps to avoid a disqualification. Now that's really costed him. I've had a VSC ruin my race many times before, and I know what it's like. It's not good. It just makes you feel really bad straight away, and it just ruins your hard work that you've done during this race. So he's going to come into the pit lane feeling very, very sorry for himself. But nobody is pitted for that VSC because obviously the pit lane did not come soon enough. So we're going to see some more battles potentially as well. Jules gets a time penalty as well. It's nice to see that the Alfa Romeos are actually working together to create some slipstream. That's probably keeping Calzo right behind him as well, not allowing the guys behind potentially catch up. Meanwhile, Noah going side by side. That's a nice little move from between Noah and Jules. Noah is up to P8. He's liking his P8s and 7s on the grid recently, because that's usually where he ends up at the moment in the house. But at least he's scoring points. It's only his 3rd race at One Hub, and he's doing very well, scoring points in every single one of them. And hopefully Belgium could be another one to add to his list.
Well, hopefully, yeah, you never know what's going to happen and what's around the corner, but Arnold's been in to have his second stop and switch back to the mediums after his moment just before the virtual safety car, and I suspect he may have been the one to cause it. But Toxic, not laying up at all. He may well be in the top 6, but he's in the top 1 of penalties earned so far, and that's not really good enough.
No, not very good at all. We got 6 drivers actually got a penalty. Pirwan, I would say, No Name, and the bus stop chicane, I would say, are the common victims of penalties. And I'm not really that surprised that the people in this tier haven't got many, but there will be some people that will be pushing for their life in the final stint once everyone goes on to the softs. As Larkin, oh, that was very, very intense going into the final corner as well, almost being pushed off the track. Larkin on 30% ERS, Jules is on 20, so I'm almost certain Larkin would be at a huge advantage, which they are. So I'll get the interval gap back up. There we go as they head towards Rouge there, which again you can take flat out. I'm quite surprised not many people have spinned it there in the Pinnacle tier, which shows how high caliber drivers we have in this league. Meanwhile, Larkin gets past Jules, but Jules tries to defend that and almost close the door there. What about Lecom? Still going side by side. We've got Jules maybe potentially getting a better line on exit into Brussels on entry. And look at that, Jules, bravo to him. He could have conceived that and gave it to Larkin, but no, he did not want to, as Netsky gets past his teammate. We've got Khalifa as well, who's potentially going to go for a double overtake into Pouon, but he decides to back out of that. But he's going to go side by side as he goes for a spin, and he hits the wall and damages his front wing in the process. That went very wrong for Khalifa there, and I won't be surprised if he goes in and goes for the softs.
I mean, you praise a man and he finds a wall. I've just done it all with Wyatt.
Yeah, I've done a glitch there. I'm sorry.
I think that's more on me. I was praising him for having it on. That's just what is going on there. J-Link is in a wall.
J-Link's in the wall. did he hit Larkin?
Yeah,
Was it a McLaren that he must have hit or something?
He did, yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to look. I'll look on Taz actually before they go into the pits to see if they sustained any damage. Jamie got 76% from damage in Paul Frere. Larkin's got 57% on the front left. So did Khalifa as well. Jamie was on the front right. So he was the one who got the worst out of all the three drivers that got damaged. So they'll be going into the pits. They're probably praying for a safety car, but that may have not hindered them too much as they're going to get the undercut on their rivals potentially as well, which may not be too bad. They're praying for the safety car gods to come out or for somebody to press a button potentially as well. But meanwhile, Calzo almost got the jump on Glock there as well. And Calzo, 0 penalties to his name so far. If he keeps it clean, he could be on for his first podium in his first race in One Hub.
And what a fairy tale start that would be for him, but there's still quite a few laps left to go, so we'll keep an eye on that situation. But it's frustrating because Larkin knows that he just needs top 6, and at the moment he's not going to be able to take advantage of the opportunity afforded to him by the fact that Lakitu, Allraff are on here. So Netsky could be the biggest winner of all today. He's in 5th place, which is worth a massive 10 points, and that would put him within 4 of
what happened
the
to Glock?
leading. I don't know what happened to Glock.
Yeah, I think either Calzo got past him or Glock would just had a bit of a moment. I don't know, but Glock didn't pick up any damage, so I think it must have been Calzo got past him. I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at Taz to see what everyone's tyre wear was. But yeah, we're looking at Glock's actually. He's been the one that's not been managing their tyres efficiently compared to the other drivers. Everyone else was around about the 20s to 30% mark. Glock's around about 44, 40, 41, 40. So if I was Glock, I would pit now, because otherwise your mediums are going to absolutely die compared to everybody else that's been on those tyres for 6-7 laps, even though Glock pitted earlier. So that's probably potentially why, even though he's still catching up to Conzo, that's maybe why Calzo actually overtook Glock, due to the fact that Glock was struggling on these tyres. Meanwhile, Jules, once again, he's going to go for a move, this time on Noah. He makes it look easy, says the Racing Point driver heading towards Lecom, and he's on for another consistent points finish here today. And he's another driver who is doing very well in terms of consistency, and consistency is key in One Hub to scoring well. He's only got 3 seconds though, whereas everyone around him has got 6 seconds and 9 seconds, so he's going to potentially jump up into 4th place if he could keep those level of consistency. Let's hope he doesn't get any more penalties. I'll see his warnings actually for Jules. He's got 3 warnings, which was due to his first penalty, so he's got no warnings so far after his penalty. So let's hope he keeps up the consistency so far. We're just waiting for the first lot of drivers to blink for their final pit stops, because the pit window is now open for the soft compounded tyres. They can make it from now, the end of lap 14. That is when they can start really to push, and none of them are going into the pits. Maybe in a few laps time potentially goes the driver, because there is no safety car, so they want to be on the fresh soft tyres if possible. But Toxic is not thinking so. Toxic goes into the pits. He thinks, why not? He's got nothing to lose, and he's going to go onto the soft compounded tyres, maybe to try and cover off his teammate.
I think he would be trying to help his teammate in the championship. If I can get my words out at some point, that'll be helpful for everyone. But Netsky's definitely the lead car, so he had priority on the pit stop, but his teammate, who I'm just trying to see where he is 7th in the standings. So I think he's probably just thinking more about the team game at the moment and trying to help his teammate push on for possible championship contention later on. Mercedes are in a good position today, but they are being outscored by the team directly above them. But they're both outscoring Ferrari, as we know. Neither driver is here, so it could be all changed come the end of this race in about 20 minutes or so. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what happens when the checkered flag comes out.
There's been so many battles so far. It's been great to see, and I've just had a quick look at the tier chat for Pinnacle as well, and I've seen the Key 2's tweet, and it said around about 4 o'clock this afternoon that he was going to have a little bit of a nap. I don't think he's woken up from that nap. that little bit of a sleep. So that's probably why he's missed the race. So, oh dear, naughty engine goes Akita. It's not the first time he has done it. He's done it many times. So, gutting that he's missing this race today. But I think blame his sleep schedule for that one. But anyway, we've got Tom R and Vienna. Well, they had to respond to Toxic's pit stop. So he comes in. Calzo, though, stays out. But he would have lost anyway by going in because, unfortunately, double stacking does not work on this game. So he has to probably be behind Glock coming out of the pit lane, but Glock stays out as well. So Calzo's podium could still be within reach as Vienna goes into the pit. So quite a long pit stop actually for Vienna. I wonder if he picked up damage earlier on. I will have a look actually. Nope, he did not. It must have just been generally a long pit stop, or it might just been there's a spectator's glitch, unfortunately. But Tom R doing very well with that undercut again. It's looking like he's a favourite to take the race win. Vienna got pole, but Tom R has been looking untouchable for the whole race. We haven't seen many races where the person on pole has taken the race victory. Netsky to pole round 1, didn't take the race victory. Rafa to pole round 3, didn't take the race victory. I can definitely see a pattern here.
Yeah, it's always good when you think you see a pattern and then one of these drivers says, I'll take that pattern and I'll change the question. But at the moment, Tom R is in the driving seat with the net race leader as the two above him yet to make their second mandatory stop, which you would think we wouldn't have to explain by now, but sometimes drivers can forget in the heat of the moment, and that's what makes this league so amazing, in that you can see a brilliant drive which counts for nothing, and then all of a sudden someone that's struggled all the way through the race keeps it clean. Let's just pick this name out just because it's an example. Say Larkin, he hasn't got any penalties. He could still finish on the podium technically if there's a late safety car, and all the people above him have penalties. So it's never really over, and every point matters, and that's why we have fastest lap points for in and outside of the top 10.
Yeah, that encourages people to keep going. That's why we still have a few drivers who have got damage earlier on going to the pit and maybe potentially go onto the soft tyres as well. So Glock comes in, so does Calzo as well to cover off their teammates. So what about in relation to Tom R? Tom R comfortably comes in front. Vienna, though, stays in second, Calzo third, and Glock fourth. So I don't know what happened to Glock, but Glock must be feeling the pressure right now, how he's got Toxic on much warmer tyres ahead of him, and it's behind him actually. So it's pretty much going to be Mercedes versus Mercedes challenging these Alfa Romeos today, as Netsky gets passed by Toxic. I wonder if it was strategic call. I think it was, because Netsky is ahead of Toxic in the championship, but Netsky's still looking good despite the amount of penalties that he's got. Tut, a little bit of a naughty engine, I have to say, but literally anything could happen, yeah. And I have to say, these guys who do have a penalty will not hope for a late safety car, because that will definitely jump them outside the point, and for the ones that not got penalties, they will probably potentially get into the point. I still haven't decided who potentially could get driver of the day, but the ones that have still made to make their second stop, the only driver to make their second stop is Konzo, who's only done one, but he will be pitting, I would say, next lap.
Yeah, and you say that, and I just noticed Toxic had a little bit of a moment behind his teammate there, as he's definitely trying to play the team game, but he very nearly ended up with no points for the team at all there. He was lucky to get away with that one, a little bit of a slide, and we've all been there, but this is an incredible race, and I have absolutely no idea who's going to win, but I think the threat of rain has subsided as we have bright blue sky and quite bright sunshine here in the nearby areas of the Ardennes rainforest, which, by the way, happens to be one of the most magnificent backdrops on any Grand Prix track.
Yeah, I agree that as well. I managed to put that backdrop on the trailer as well. Just look at those mountains as well, heading towards El Rouge. Absolutely spectacular. Meanwhile, Calzo, he's looking very feisty. He may think the podium is his, but he wants to get one step higher into P2. You know what? He could potentially still get a race victory here. Does Calzo? Absolutely fantastic. Moved up the inside of Vienna and up into P2. look about that. I have to say, Calzo has been my driver of the day so far. He was under the radar at the start of the race, so I wasn't expecting him to do well. But my oh my, he's proven that he definitely deserves to be in Pinnacle. It's like that he's taken Samba's seat and what do you call it? He swapped bodies or something with him, because literally he is showing why he deserves Samba's seat, and he's probably making Samba proud, I have to say. And you know, this could be a Renault 1-2 finish. Both drivers have picked up 0 penalties. One Alfa Romeo has got 1, the other has got none. So Calzo could be easy. He's catching to Thomas massively. With these fresher tyres, you never know what could happen. And my oh my, fasten your seatbelts. We could be in for a three-way fight for the race victory. Arnold has picked himself a penalty. Liffey has also got a penalty as well. But yeah, Calzo is looking very, very good. And even though Conzo is not looking good on those in 13th, his brother is definitely showing who's the best of those brothers right now.
Well, Calzo's definitely flying with the fastest lap of the race, but Conzo is only 6 points ahead of his Renault brother at the start of play. But I think after one race, Calzo's just going to smash past him, and imagine a driver pairing of Calzo and Samba. That would be an impressive pair. But of course, Tomar's not really done much wrong this season, and he's scored a few points himself. So it's definitely an interesting call for the Renault management to make. Do they hold pat? Do they let them race to the flag? We're looking forward to finding the answer to that out very shortly. But I'm just checking the background. There's not much going on back there at the moment, as they're all spread out and on and out.
Can we see a late safety car? Nope, he retired in the pit lane. I think he's just given up. Which, to be fair, I would have done that if I was him, because there was nothing to fight for really, apart from a potential fastest lap point. But yeah, Arnold is not really having the best of seasons, is he? So hopefully he can bounce back ready for next week, which I'm excited about the race next week, to be honest. But we'll go a little bit more about that next week. Calzo just out of DRS range of Thomas, so he's just edging ever so slightly. Vienna's still within DRS range as well, but to be honest, Calzo's got brilliant straight line speed, and he's already in DRS. This is going to be... When was the last time we've seen Renault versus Renault? I remember, was it Fisichella and Alonso one year fighting for position? I think we're seeing exactly similar here as well, and I'm sure the team bosses, well, there are 2 team bosses at Renault/Alpine now, and I wonder that they must be closing their eyes with fear, wondering that, are they going to keep it on the roads? Are they not going to get any damage? I really do not know. So let's see what Calzo can do heading towards Rouge. I'm seeing what the fastest lap, actually, their last lap was compared to each other. So last lap, Thomas was a 1:44.3, Calzo 1:43.7. So wow, Calzo's getting on Thomas by 5 tenths per lap.
Yeah, you can definitely see that as he's getting visibly closer as you're watching him going down the straight. But I think it definitely must have been Alonso back when the Renault was the last time they were any good. So that was always good to see that drivers can pick up the mantle anytime they want. But Toxic has got ahead of his teammate again. I'm not really sure what's going on at Mercedes, but something strange is happening. But anyway, this is probably for the battle for the lead to stick on board with the final couple of laps. And at the moment, no one is close to making an overtake, but I think Calzo may well be going for the race win today.
All I think it takes is for someone to get a penalty, and that's it. Calzo is on 2 warnings. So if Calzo just picks up 1 warning, then he gets a penalty, and I think that's what Thomas is hoping for. I'm sure these two are in the party together as well, with added, well, pressure that if one of them makes a mistake, they're going to be in trouble. And if both of them just go into each other, maybe Vienna could win this race, and we could maybe see an Alfa Romeo 1-2 as well. Maybe Noah could get him onto the podium, because don't forget, Noah has no penalties. Meanwhile, Jules and Netsky going side by side there, and they're not leaving much space as possible, almost going wide a little bit and almost getting damaged. Jules could go up the inside into La Source potentially as well, but decided to think better of it, because otherwise there would have been sheer disaster. Vienna is so much closer to Calzo than he is to Tomar. Maybe Calzo was pushing a little bit too much, but again, Calzo's straight line speed is absolutely amazing. You do not know what's going to happen. Maybe Calzo is saving his ERS. Yes, he is. 38% goes Calzo, 54% as well. So these guys do not want to back out of this race victory at the moment. We will definitely see a fourth different race winner here today, because obviously we had Lakitu won a race, we've had Netsky won a race, Toxic won a race, and none of them are going to have a chance of winning a race today. So we can see a fourth different race winner, which will probably be the closest Pinnacle Championship that we've seen in quite a long time. Not as dominant as we would have seen in ages. And Calzo, well, I'm just trying to see where Calzo will go if he's in the championship. I'm just trying to see. He would be in 11th place, I would say. Yeah, 11th position if things will stay as they were. So that's very, very good compared to the drivers that have been there since the very start. So the other drivers will be given a wake-up call, of course. Tomar will be moved up to 8. Vienna will be moved up into 2nd place.
Yeah, I've just been doing the maths on that. Vienna will be, 1 point behind Lakitu. If it stands the way that they finish, of course. There's time for it to change, because Vienna could well get onto the podium, which would put him to the top of the Pinnacle drivers' standings. But this is the final lap of 22 scheduled laps around here, and it's too close to call.
It is too close to call as well, and you can see Calzo is pushing yellow flag, and that is a Haas car. I'm not sure who it is, but that's not our attention at the moment. Calzo has been waiting for his life here. Here he goes, lovely straight line speed. He does not want to give up without a fight. Can he go round the inside of Tomar into Les Combes? No, he only gets a few more chances to get the move. It may be too little too late. Vienna has dropped away from this, so maybe he's given up on the fight and trying to save his ERS. It's a battle for the top 2. Meanwhile, Jules gets past Netsky up into P6 again, so I'll watch that battle unfold very, very soon too as well. But anything can happen. Calzo's still one warning off a penalty, like we said again, and I thought he would have got a penalty there, but he didn't. He just slowed the car in time, but he lost a bit of ground. I think he lost about a temp in that as well. We can see Calzo gained a bit on the corners as well, heading in to, I would say, Paul Fred, and the longest straight coming up at this moment in time. You can see Calzo dropping a bit of time there to Tomar, but we shall see. Look at this, Calzo. He's just gaining time and time again. He's using his ERS to his might at the moment as we head towards the final part of the race. Tom R has got to do all he can to try and fend up his teammate. This could be a photo finish, maybe potentially as well, but it may not be enough. Tom R comes across the line and he takes the win here at Belgium. Calzo in 2nd, Vienna in 3rd, Glock in 4th position. And Toxic, last week's race winner, only can manage 5th, but Jules finished ahead of Netsky in 5th. In 6th, I mean, Toxic dropped down to 7th due to penalties. And I did say that Noah would jump quite a lot due to penalties. He jumped to 5th. Fair play to him. Larkin in 9th, Khalifa in 10th, and then we got Jamie and Konzo that's going to take the final points paying positions. I'm sure he'll be a bit disappointed, but I'm sure he'll be happy to still pick up a point. Konzo comes across the line in 12th. I'm trying to see who's got fastest lap point up outside the top 10. Inside the top 10 is Calzo. Outside the top 10, I think it's Konzo, actually. Yep, it is Konzo who gets it outside the top 10. So he'll be getting 2 points, just like Jamie. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that has really spiced things up, because Netsky could not take advantage of the golden opportunity for him, and he's actually probably going to maybe stay 4th in it. Well, he wouldn't stay 4th, but he's not going to be as close as he wanted to be. That's a very, very crazy ending, as he dropped places, as did his teammate, for all those penalties they got early in the race. That proves to be key. As we said at the time, he could well do that, and wow, I believe it is going to be Vienna now taking 2nd place on 39 points, 1 point behind the leader, who's probably dreamt that he was coming into the next week still with his lead intact despite missing a race. Well, that's exactly what's happened, and of course, prior to any post-race penalties, and I'm not really sure there were many incidents to talk of which would affect that, I will hand over to Jess for the provisional results.
Here we go then. So Tomar makes it 4 different winners from 4 races this season. And we got a Renault 1-2. Renault are leading the Constructors' battle against Ferrari as well, after both Ferraris not being here. Vienna in 3rd. Glock in 4th position. He said he likes this track and he backs it up with a really good result despite the penalties. Where he would have been without it remains to be seen. Noah in 5th. Jules in 6th. Another consistent points finish for him after starting 8th. Netsky in 7th, Tox in 8th, Larkin in 9th, Khalifa in 10th, J-Luke in 11th, and Konzo finishing in 12th and also picking up that fastest lap point. And then we got, oh no, it's not Konzo. Did Cliffy finish? Cliffy finished. He snatched it at the last second across the line, a 1:42.5 on those soft tyres. So Konzo does not get 2 points. Cliffy gets 1 point. So my oh my. And let me just get the finishing position. So we've got Cliffy and then Vitality, your final finishers. And your retirements are Arnold and Josh. So I was not expecting that, but Cliffy gets the fastest lap for the second race in a row. So anyway, it is now time to decide who is our driver of the day. And there's so many different candidates for driver of the day, so many different performances. I'll let you go first, but you're probably going to pick who I'm going to pick. So I'll have to probably get thinking. But anyway, who's your driver of the day? What would you like to ask him?
Well, I'd like to pick Noah as driver of the day, because I think it's just been a fabulous drive to keep it as clean as he did. But the question I'd like to ask him was, did you think that keeping it clean would be so beneficial, or do you think you got a little bit lucky with all the contenders around you tripping over each other?
Well, I don't know who to go for now, because obviously I thought you would have gone with the race winner potentially, or even Calzo. So that means it's going to be finding it very hard to choose between either Tomar or Calzo, who both driven fantastic races. But due to the fact that Calzo started, I think he gained 4 positions from his starting position, and he came all the way up into P2 and had brilliant pace. He just missed out on the win, but to get a podium on your first race with One Hub, I have to say, is a fantastic debut. So my drive of the day goes to Calzo, and my question is, well, I need to try and think of a question. Well done on your very first podium here at One Hub. Were you expecting that on your first ever race, and will you be able to carry on this momentum going into next week, of course? And next week, it is the Austrian Grand Prix, which is a driver favourite of mine and also a fan favourite of all you guys as well. And I'm very much looking forward to that. So we'll go for our sponsors once again. Next Level Racing will be providing a GT-like cockpit to a winner of our giveaway. So if you follow us on Twitch, so if you click the follow button now, you're watching right now, please do. And also follow us on Twitter and Instagram, as well as join our Discord server and subscribe to our YouTube account. You'll be entered into our giveaway. Also, one of our partners, ERT, who sponsors Going Gets Tough Award, we had Khalifa, Josh, Arnold, Cliffy, and Noah race for them tonight, and they get free entry to the league. You also have Liam RBS, who sponsor our trophies. Vespertine also provide our prizes. We also have 3M, who also provide gloves to the people with the most fastest laps and pole positions. And I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think who I've missed. Next Level Racing, ERT, 3M. I think I remembered everyone. Time to Print 3D. There we go. I knew I'd forgotten someone. They've got a key ring for the Belgian Grand Prix this week, and I'm sure a lot of people would want that after this race. So that is the end of the Belgian Grand Prix. All the races have come to an end tonight, and I'm sure you guys have enjoyed that. So make sure you join us next week. Thanks, Matt, for joining us once again in the commentary box. It must have been a good race for sure.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of battles, and I wasn't really sure at the end whether the Renaults were going to take each other out or not, but they didn't, and that was good to see that they kept it clean and the pressure just didn't tell, and congrats to both of those. But Tom gets his first victory of the season, so that could do wonders for his confidence as well.
Yeah, and can he carry on into next week? Josh didn't even get a race victory and he actually won the championship last season, so I wonder if he's got leg rooms to improve ready for next week. But anyway, I have been GS Gamer 95. Matt has been Indecisive Mackie, and we were, well, I don't even know who's going to be the commentary box next week. Or will it be me or will it be someone else? Most likely will be someone else, as we'll try to get someone sorted for next week. But whatever happens, One Hub will see you next week, same time, for the Belgium. That's where we were this week.
Not today.
Oh, God. It's been a long day, people. That's my excuse. We'll see you next week for the Austrian Grand Prix. It should be a very exciting race. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good evening. Goodbye.